Well, hello there, you beautiful person. That's my British accent. Hope you enjoyed it. I just woke up and I have yet to look at my phone. I've yet to look at my computer. I know that in the middle of the night, I likely hit 100K. Unless a ton of people were like, you know what? Actually, this Dylan John guy, I actually don't like his tutorials, and they unsubscribed. But I think probably I hit 100K, and I have yet to look. I waited, got some coffee, waited to record this moment. All right, so go to YouTube Studio. Wow. Look at that. 6 digits there. That's crazy. This number is you guys. And so I have to say thank you to you, because this is only possible because of you. And the fact that you put your trust in me is something I don't take lightly. So thank you so much. I'm really grateful for you. And I'm also grateful for these guys. I'm not sure where I'm gonna put their faces. Without them, I think I would have fizzled out on YouTube many years ago. They've helped inspire me. They're mentors. They've given me advice. They're great friends. And I love all of them. I gotta give them credit because I couldn't have done this without them. It's crazy to think that I've been making these FCP tutorials for 7 years. And some of you might be saying, you've been making Final Cut tutorials for 7 years? So some of you are like, I can't even take 1 hour in the software without wanting to go outside. And yeah, to be honest, I just like making videos, but the big reason I think why I've pushed forward is you guys commenting in my videos, because without feedback, without people telling me that the videos help, or that they enjoyed watching it, or just having a sense of community, I would have stopped many years ago. So thank you for subscribing, thank you for commenting if you do. And to celebrate, I went back over the past 7 years and looked at the tips in the videos that you guys liked the most. So the tips you commented on the most and the ones that you frequently went back to in the videos, because we can see that as YouTube creators. So I'd say my tagline now, which is let's cut out the fluff and let's get into the good stuff. But frankly, this whole thing was fluff. So I hope you'll give me this one. So you're editing a part of your project and you're like, hey, I really could use that title or pop-up that I used earlier for this part of the video. So you make the long journey to where that pop-up is on your timeline, you copy it, and you make the long journey back to paste it. Save yourself some time and hassle by just placing your cursor above your timeline after copying it, and it has to be above your timeline for this to work, and just hit the right arrow key. You'll be transported back to where your playhead is, so then you can just press Option V to paste that title or pop-up above your timeline. I've seen people do this a lot, and maybe this is you. Maybe I'm specifically talking to you right now. If you're still someone that presses Command B to make a cut, and then you select that end part that you don't want, and then you delete, stop doing that. Instead, press the shortcut Option and right bracket. This takes 2 steps out of deleting that section, and just trims the clip down to your skimmer. There are times when you shoot in a normal frame rate, but when you sit down to edit your footage, you realize that you wish you had shot that footage in slow motion. The solution is simple and works great. With your clip selected, head to the Retime menu and hit Smooth Slow-Mo. Or you can press Command R on your clip. Think Command Retime. And then drag the clip out to slow it down. Then hop into the Retime menu and change the video quality to Best Machine Learning. Final Cut will use some voodoo magic to intelligently blend the frames of your shot together so it genuinely looks like you shot the clip in slow motion. And just a heads up, because I know some of you will try this out and be bummed that your slow motion doesn't look smooth on your timeline, you need to render that clip or that section of your timeline where you applied smooth slow-mo. So what I like to do is select the clip, press Ctrl R to just render that clip only, and sometimes you need to do it twice, basically until you see these dots go away. And then you'll be able to see what the shot should look like when you export. If you want to copy an effect from one clip to another, instead of taking the time to go through and deselect all of the ones that you don't want to transfer over, just hold Option and click the effect that you do want to transfer. Just by holding Option and clicking, you can get the job done in one click compared to many. Did you know that you can instantly mend any unwanted cuts by clicking the cut and pressing the delete key? Let's say you want your song to end here, but you don't really want to just cut it out and have it be silent. You don't want to fade it out because it still sounds like it's playing as it's fading out. And you could try the method of cutting the last bit of the song, lining up the beats, and having that last bit of the song play out where you want it to end. But often, the song may end abruptly or not end how you would like it to. Hey guys, So if that's the case, try this. Go to the beat of the song that you would like to be the end. Usually this is the beat where the cut is made in your video. And go over a frame or two and press the shortcut Shift-H. This creates a hold frame. Extend the hold out a bit more and just trim off the end by pressing Option and right bracket. You'll see that our audio ends abruptly here and then is silent. Here's what you do for the effect though. Head to your effects browser, search for Cathedral 2, and double-click to apply. You'll notice that we now have audio in this previously silent section. The issue is that we have also affected the rest of our song. So press Ctrl-A on your music to bring up the audio animation editor. Hit this drop-down menu to expand it, and set 2 keyframes about where the beat in the song was by pressing Option K, and then Option K for the next keyframe. Then just completely cut out the Cathedral effect from the rest of the song by lowering this bit to the bottom. This way, the Cathedral effect only affects the song from here on. And if we play this out, you'll hear we have this nice echo at the beat that gradually fades our song out. Hey guys, I'm Dylan John. Almost like we created the song and ended it right here. And if you want, you adjust the effect by lowering or raising this bar here and adjusting the distance between your 2 keyframes. Hey guys, I'm Dylan John. Just by pressing R to bring up the range tool, selecting a part of your clip that you'd like to be in your video, and then pressing Option \, you can instantly trim off the unwanted parts of your clip, leaving you with the exact segment that you want. Some FCP users still don't know about this tip, so I think it's useful to bring this up again. By holding the grave key, also known as the tilde key, you can freely move and adjust your media without having the magnetic timeline suck other things with it. Essentially, you're temporarily turning off the magnetic timeline when you press this key. For example, if I perform a slip edit here by pressing T to bring up the trim tool and sliding, all the attached media on this clip moves with it. But if I hold the grave key, we're golden. And little fun fact, if you hold the grave key and then press Shift, this handy feature will stay on even when you're not pressing this button. Let me know if that's a new one for you in the comments. Number 6, save yourself some time and stop doing this. Say you hit Shift-T to bring up the transform tool, or you just press the transform button. Stop going back to the button to turn off the tool. Instead, simply hit the A key, which is your select arrow tool. So let me ask you this. What happens when you get to a point in your project where some big changes are about to be made and you have no idea if you'll end up liking it later on? Well, you can duplicate the project so you can edit the new changes in one of those projects, but the issue is that once you edit a multicam clip or a compound clip, those changes will be made to both projects. A duplicated project is tied to the original in that way. This is where snapshots become really handy. Take a snapshot of your project by right-clicking and hitting Snapshot Project, and it essentially freezes how your project looks at that moment. If you make changes to any compound or multicam clips, it will not affect the compound or multicam clips in the snapshot. It'll even tell you the time and date of the freezing. If down the road you decide, damn, these changes that I've made look terrible, I wish that I had that old version, just revert to the snapshot that you created at the right date and time, and you'll have everything exactly how it was. This is really great for making what are essentially drafts. If you complete a rough edit, take a snapshot. If you complete color grading, snapshot. Sound design, snapshot.
That way, you have easily accessible references of how your project developed.
Some of you might remember me mentioning a sound design course. It is real, I promise. It is deep into production and it is coming this fall. It's called Sound Design Secrets, and I'm so stoked for it because honestly, if you asked me what has changed my videos the most, what has improved my videos the most, even more than a new camera, a new color grading skill, a new plugin, it is sound design 100%. So if you want first access and the best price that it'll ever be, there's a waitlist link below. The people on that list get it cheaper than anyone else. Thank you so much for 100,000 subscribers, and here's to many more free tutorials. Have a great day.